Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Well, beautiful people, I hope you've had a fantastic summer. I've been away for the last few weeks because I have been applying this North Node in Leo to my own life and taking advantage of the eclipses, which has meant that I've had to roll up my sleeves, get some tech skills under my fingertips, and I've applied for something that's a wonderful opportunity that came my way, so I needed to give that attention. Now that I have applied and released it into the ether, we'll see what the universe brings back. So I've missed you, hope you've had a great time, but now I'm back. Also, I just want to make an announcement because I'm being called to bring astrology offline, i.e. teaching astrology in local areas. So I'm delivering 3 taster classes. If you happen to be in London, I'm doing 3 taster classes that start on September the 17th, September the 24th and October the 1st. They're going to be in Brixton in South London. If you want to find out any more information, go on to eventbrite.com or meetup.com, and what you're searching for is astrology through the keyhole. Whose life is it anyway? Astrology through the keyhole. Whose life is it anyway? So there are a few places left. If you want to book on, I would love to meet you in person. So as I said, part of my dharma is bringing astrology offline, still doing these episodes, but actually teaching offline. So it's a wonderful way actually for me to begin the bridge building from the North Node in Leo, because it's at 5 degrees at the moment and will be there until early November, and then the bridging that moves us all into the North Node in Cancer, and that's what this episode is about. So the North Node moves into Cancer, which means the South Node moves into Capricorn. This will take place on the 7th of November 2018 and will be there for the next 18 months, which brings us to May 2020. So when we're thinking of, you know, the North Node in Cancer, the idea is that we bring the illuminations, the confidence, what you've learnt with the North Node moving through Leo, and you're now going to rebirth your identity with the North Node in Cancer, because when we're looking at Cancer, we're looking at the moon, it's representing birthing, so obviously physical birthing. You know, there's a birthing process, it doesn't tend to run smoothly, and so just think about, you know, when a child is born, you know, the waters are broken, so waters break, a child is born. You can apply that process to the birthing of your new identity, the birthing of your creativity. They don't tend to run smoothly, and the reason being is because you're holding on to the umbilical cord of your past. And the idea here in this birthing process is to cut the umbilical cord from the karma of your family. Because it's the North Node, you're moving in this new direction. The idea is by cutting the umbilical cord, you are then about to step into your dharma. And your dharma is the growth journey for your life in this lifetime. So when we're looking at North Node and we're looking at Cancer, essentially what you're being called to do is to reveal and to connect with your emotions, your feelings and your insecurities. Another growth area is about how you nourish and nurture yourself first and then apply that to other people. And then another growth area is whereby you are being called to let go of doing things because they are socially acceptable. And now, in this lifetime, it's about doing things that are honest and true to you. The bottom line of the North Node in Cancer is honesty and truth. It's about living your truth, living with honesty. Now, the Achilles heel is this sense of always feeling you have to control situations. You have to either control yourself, keep your feelings and emotions in check, because the South Node is associated with Capricorn, and the South Node will then be ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is like this concrete jacket that you put on. It's conservative, it's conventional, it's about maintaining the status quo. And in past lifetimes there may have been this repression of feelings and emotions because you may have been around or grown up in conservative environments. They could be communal conservative environments or very highly structured environments. It could have been a monastery or a convent. And so living in those types of environments, which is very Capricornian, very Saturnian, means that you're following this daily discipline, this daily application of how life should be. And in order to do so, you have either been encouraged or to repress, suppress, disassociate with what is meaningful to you. As a result of this past life association has meant that you're not very familiar with the concepts of interdependence in family environments. Or if it's not your literal family, it's the ability to connect, emote with other people. And that's what your soul is yearning for in this lifetime. Now, if you're carrying the what you've been equipped with from the South Node in Capricorn, then you step into this life as somebody who's very organised, very business orientated, is very goal orientated, knows how to set a goal and to pursue a goal and to achieve it. Again, when you do this, what happens is that you are either delaying or denying the human needs, the sense of sexual urges, the sense of touch, the sense of emotional communication, because you're in pursuance of this goal. But there's always going to be a goal. You want to achieve this, you want to achieve that. And you may achieve it, and you may feel okay for the moment, but there's a sense of this hollow victory. And that's because there's this disassociation between the goal that you've achieved, which is something tangible and external. The reason being is because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is that mountain goat that struggles to get to the top of the mountain. Saturn is the natural ruler of the 10th house, which means it's about, I want to be respected and admired for what it is that I have achieved. I don't care how I've done it. It will be done morally. And when I say I don't care how it's being done, it's more about I may have had to cut off my feelings in order to achieve this, but I still want to be respected for it. So you now step into this lifetime, and this is your portfolio. This is the platform from which you are now operating. And with the North Node in Cancer, the idea is about cutting this umbilical cord so that you can then create your own foundation and then choose the destination for your life in this lifetime. The idea is that you want to be experiencing sex and intimacy and touch and emotional communication. And the idea is that you bring down the barriers. Remember, Saturn Capricorn is very barrier. This is my territory and I govern what goes on in this territory. I decide what goes on in this territory, instead of allowing the outside world and yourself to be interacting, so that you know, you're kind of breathing and you're separating. You're breathing, you're coming back and you're letting go. You're breathing, you're coming back and you're letting go. It's this continuous flow, and that's what you're seeking in Capricorn and the North Node. So it's a wonderful time for you to reset or recalibrate, because by doing so, you will allow yourself to honour the divine inner child. Now, you're adults. I'm assuming the people looking back at me, you're adults. And so what can happen is now we're dealing with the moon. Issues of the moon is about mothering and nurturing and nourishment. And as an adult, I doubt there are many adults who can really put their hands on their heart and said, I've had a fantastic, nourishing relationship in terms of nourishment and nurturing from my mum or from my dad. That's not to say people like that don't exist, of course they do, but I would say a vast majority of us have had questionable parenting experiences, terrible parenting experiences, or okay experiences. And so Jung described this as the dual mother. the goddess mother. And within the goddess mother, there is the wonderful mother, and then there's the terrible mother. And so the wonderful mother is the type of mother whereby she was able to help you build the internal complexes. She helped you put together the different selves that make you up, that make me up, that make all of us up. She was able to put it together in a structured and coherent way that was safe for you to grow into your multiple identities. She may have been the mother that, you know, first took you to school, and there she was, and there you were on the first day of school, and she was crying and you were crying, and she didn't want to let you go, and you were eager to run off, and she let you go. She came back at the end of the day, so that provided you with a sense of safety. I can be away from mum for X amount of time, but she does come back. And then as the days and the weeks and the months go by, this separation, this healthy independence begins to take place. And because this type of mother has helped to build the different selves and the complexes, there's a point where she can see that her child is growing into independence, and she recognizes that she is not the only goddess in the child's pantheon. That's a very healthy expression, because she's enabled the child to understand who he or she is, as well as this sense of the world around them, and then the safety she has provided. The terrible mother, like Medusa, for example, could be the mother that's, you know, rules the roost with a firm hand or the iron fist in a very structured way. So she could be the type of mother, particularly with boys, or boys and girls, that she was unable to really allow them to flower with both the anima and the animus that exists within both of us. We're made up of the masculine and the feminine. So the Medusa type of mother may have been someone who was always remonstrating, always telling boys off, stop running around, stop making the noise, and, you know, in some ways emasculating boy children, so that they were not able to fully grow into their masculinity, and then there was a connection, but not necessarily a healthy connection, with their anima. Conversely, with daughters, you know, young girls, they may have been told, you know, look pretty, be, you know, behave yourself, be seen and not heard, you know, don't look messy, be in control of your feelings, be nice. And one day you'll grow up and you'll marry a nice man. Instead of allowing that girl child to experience, but all sides of her, you know, the masculine side of her and the feminine side of her, the anima and the animus. So therefore, there was an honouring of, you know, as a girl, there's nothing wrong with being assertive. As boys can be assertive and aggressive. There's nothing wrong where we are able to have this full expression of ways of being and ways of relating to the world. And so with this North Node in Cancer, it's your opportunity to reparent yourself, to remother yourself. You're now the adult who is taking care of the divine inner child. So the divine inner child may be so pushed down, maybe so repressed, maybe so stuck in the Saturnian or Capricornian way of being with the South Node. With you as the conscious mother moving with this North Node in Cancer, it's an opportunity now for you to reparent, to bring out that divine inner child, to play with that inner child, to play with that 7-year-old, to bring the excitement back to your life, to bring, you know, the joy back into your life. With so much of this Saturn, it's a heavy energy. And if you still operate with, I've got to be striving to achieve this particular goal and not bring joy and fulfillment and nourishment in your life, then you're operating in a very one-dimensional way. So the fantastic thing to do with this North Node in Cancer is this honouring of the inner divine child. Bring her out, bring him out, be playful, be joyful, and the reason being is because your inner divine child is going to help you maneuver, is going to help you traverse the journey from the North Node in Leo to this North Node in Cancer. And your inner child is going to be guiding you to what is nourishment, is going to be guiding you to what is nurturing. And when you're able to hold all of the self-care. North Node in Cancer is about how do you administer self-care. What is it that really makes your heart sing? What is it that makes you feel really secure? Because don't forget, the moon is exalted in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so we've got the physical form. Here it's about what are the things that bring you emotional security and financial security. Don't forget, your responsibility is about creating your own family, however you define that. That brings you the security because you have cut the umbilical cord to the karma of your family, and you now want to be releasing the dharma of your life for this lifetime. So it's beyond nourishment. It's a way for you to be integrating yourself, but everything that goes on around you. And as a mature adult, you are now on this individuation process where you are breathing life into this new identity. You've birthed this new identity, and so what you're then able to do in terms of your talents is find ways in which you have created your own model of birthing and nourishment and nurturing. And so you've done it for yourself. You can then share that with other people in a way whereby you're providing them with protection so that they then can operate from this place of leverage. And you can do this, you can be generous with this, is because you've done it for yourself. You're not operating from an empty well, and so therefore you're being depleted and drained. No, the North Node in Cancer is that you need to replenish, you need to fill up your well. You know, serve from the overflow of your cup. Serve from the water within the saucer. You know, serve from that particular place. Because when we think about this rebirthing, think about, you know, how did the earth come into being? What happened? You know, the Old Testament Genesis says that, you know, water separated from land, from the earth. That's how the earth was birthed. If we think of the myth of Inanna, and so, you know, she gave birth to the world. If we think of Samira and what happened, you had the goddess Padma, or the lotus, and so she was sitting in a stream and the world was birthed from her navel. So it's this sense of identifying what enables you to birth, knowing what that process is. Because one of the things you must let go of in order to be in this beautiful birthing environment is you've got to let go of focusing so much on the goal. I've got to achieve X, Y, and Z, that you miss the process. And with the North Node in Cancer, you're being called upon, what is your process? What is your process for integration? What is your process for healing? What is your process for nourishment? Whereby you can literally breathe so deeply. You breathe, you're relaxed, shoulders are down, you can just walk through life with ease. Why? Because you now have taken responsibility to mother, to parent yourself in a way that's emotionally healthy. So that's it, beautiful people. That's a North Node in Cancer, the 18 months that runs from 7th of November this year through to May of 2020, is a delectable time for you to be giving yourself the self-care that's required so that you're able to stand strong when you have Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn all in Capricorn in 2020. You'll be ready to take on what will be waiting for you. So with that, that brings me to the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is from Sophia, Loren. And what she said is, beauty is what you feel on the inside. It shines through your eyes. It has got nothing to do with the physicality. And so what you're seeking to do with this North Node is Cancer is to tap your inner beauty. And by tapping your inner beauty and by nourishing your inner beauty, it will be then emitted through your eyes, through your pores, through your disposition, through your being. That's what's being called for. As you know, I know